The first thing I wanted to show you is what it looks like downtown Columbus when it comes to how close we are to the State House. So I'm prepaying parking for 20 up to 20 people. So you don't need to worry about paying for parking as long as you park in the LAZ garage. And from that garage, which has a green dot on this map, it is a 5-minute walk to the Trinity Episcopalian Church. And the reason why we're going there is that you can't really have food on the State House. They have a giant refrigerator, enough space to serve food for 80 people. And I'm going to Walmart the day before and just stocking up on beverages, snacks, stuff we can take on the run. Right across the street from that red dot, which is the Episcopalian Church, is where all of the senators are in the Ohio State House, which they also call part of it the Senate building. So we're literally right across the street. And then just beyond that, that purple dot is the Rife Center, and that's where all the people who are in the Ohio House of Representatives have their office. So we are literally straight shot the whole time just for where we need to be. Of course, we know this is a State House Day just for current and former foster youth. Sometimes we're going to work on federal legislation, sometimes state legislation, and then Jaylisha's been rocking it out lately when it comes to reaching out to local folks. For this, it's going to focus on the state. Basically, on a State House Day, usually participants come together to advocate for up to 3 issues, and then they share a consistent message. And then after State House Day, they follow up about everything they want. So for us, the 3 issues, and this is what Yane and Jalen and I had been talking about way last fall when they spoke before 900 people. The Foster to College Scholarship is on the verge of being included in the state budget and or in state law. So we want to push that forward. Yolanda and I have done a lot of work along with others, Jalen, some other folks on youth who run away to escape abuse. And then sibling connections matter. So that's how those 3 issues were chosen. But the intent after State House Day is for each of you to build, 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 build. Or on State House Day, you might talk about those 3 issues, but you are going to build that relationship. I already know you have like a file cabinet in your brain that you're going to build onto this. When it comes to role starring legislation, usually when you go in there, there's kind of like a formula. I'm bad at math, but I was taught this formula, and it's how every legislative visit works. You usually have one person lead the introductions. You can have someone share, here's the problem. The person shares their personal story. Yolanda did a really good job of that for the runaway issue. Then you make the ask and give them the one-page pager. And then you say, wow, thanks so much. Even if they're a jerk, you thank them so much and take a photo. And you can share more than one issue during a visit, but we just use that formula. So when it comes to each of your visits, for each of you, you have 2 visits in the morning, 2 visits in the afternoon. Sometimes you might need to split apart for your visits and have half the group go to one, half to the other based on legislator availability. But I tried to get you the highest up people that I can get. And we can talk about the schedule in a little bit. And I have an example of sharing more than one story. You could say, hey, we're here with the Ohio YB. Guess what? We're also with the Montgomery County Vision Board. We're also with the Hamilton County Youth Advisory Board. And you talk about which issue you want to cover, your personal story, and make the ask. You thank them and take a photo. If your meeting is with a legislative aide, know that honestly, they get stuff done even more than the legislators do. A legislator is good if you want to take a photo, but the aides know everything. They're like the beating heart of the state house, and they push things forward. There's 3 top things about the legislative visits. One of them is that you only have 15 to 30 minutes, and if you go off topic, they get distracted. And if you go over time, they just end the meeting because they've got somebody else. So for each of yours, I asked them for 30 minutes for you. You'll want to take a photo with them at the end to remind them of their promises. You'll want to take notes, and I already know I'm talking to note takers. These are things we've talked about in the past about how a bill becomes a law. We are currently experiencing the tree swing diagram right now. Legislators try to change your bill along the way, and you have to figure out how much you're willing to compromise and how much not. In terms of logistics, you'll want to wear professional clothing and comfortable shoes. On the right is Adam Hassan. He has a brand new suit and sneakers, and that is acceptable because you do a lot of walking. He's also awesome. He testified with Jalisha. Parking, it says prepaid with parameters. The parameters is you gotta park at the lot I'm paying for, but it's right on the way. We're gonna try to arrive by 9 a.m. and be at the church by 9 a.m. But Jalisha made the point that if the drivers, like if you have awesome people, they can always drop the young people off at Trinity for the snacks and stuff, and then the driver can park the van. There'll be snacks and meals. I'm going to be asking you all about food options. And then the last thing is what is and isn't allowed at the State House. If somebody vapes, no judgment, but I wouldn't have a vape at the State House. Anything with aerosol, certain kind of combs. And if you bring, you can't bring backpacks. And if you bring something and you're like, crap, I can't have that at the State House, you could either leave it in a van or car, or we have a representative from the Children's Defense Fund Ohio that's holding it down at the Episcopalian Church all day and watching our stuff. So if you're like, oh man, I really need this, but I can't bring it on the State House, she'll watch your stuff.